Hi, this is Nell. In the video of today, I want to talk about the nominated feature films in the area of animation for the upcoming Oscars. As you know, the Oscars are probably not coming by the time you see this video, so maybe it already happened a couple of days ago, or a week, or a year. Anyway, this is going to be for the feature films from 2020. And as before, apologies for the noises in the background. This is the hour where the birds are going to bed, so you are probably going to hear a lot of corvids doing their proper quackings, if that's the name of the sound. And neighbors are a little bit chatty as well, so I'll try to ease it up in audio edition later, but I won't promise that it properly will go away, so sorry about that. Alright, so the first nominated, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, which technically belongs to last year, and I saw it back in the day. I don't remember much about it lately, except that it's the movie that kind of sponsored one of the most prolific memes from 2019. The movie basically is about the adventures of Hiccup and Toothless. Hiccup, the kid who owns the dragon is Toothless, and the idea is for Hiccup to help Toothless to get laid. In the process, they find this hidden world that is inhabited by dragons. It's a world that is kind of like a mixture between Pandora and the Land of the Dead from Coco. And in this universe, they have to fight off poachers who are trying to capture the dragons. Well, is my imagination, or this Hiccup guy, when he grows old, he kind of like looks like this guy in here? I think my favorite part of this movie was Rough Nut. Oh my god, that girl!
Why the long face? I mean, mine's long, but yours is really long. All face and no brain, like you got stretched at birth. Do you have a twin too? Tough Nut took up all the room in Mom's belly. Otherwise, I'd have a rounder head and more brains. That's science. I know what you're thinking. You've never had a prisoner this hot. All the boys love me, except Aaron, who totally lost his chance. That ship has sailed, boy, sorry. And Hiccup is practically married to that roundhead Astrid. But Snotlout and Fishlegs, they're basically my harem. I just can't choose, you know? Snotlout's a beefcake, but almost too pretty, you know? Sometimes I think he's more in love with himself than me. There's only room for one beauty in this relationship. Fish legs would keep me alive longer if I had to eat one of them, stranded on some glacier somewhere, but he never shuts up about dragons. Don't you hate when people never stop talking?
Yes, I do.
Blah, blah, blah. It's so boring.
There is something very endearing about people who has this level of, let's call it self-esteem. It's just, I don't know, oblivious self-awareness, and this, I think some people call it the Dunning-Kruger effect, but it happens that we have that effect wrong all the time, because people tend to relate the Dunning-Kruger to the phenomenon of idiotic people thinking they are brilliant, and brilliant people doubting themselves, which is kind of like what it means, but not exactly, because what the Dunning-Kruger effect actually means is that when you are developing a skill, and you are just starting to develop it, it's very hard for you to self-assess on which part of the learning curve you are, because the skills that you need in order to know that, you don't yet have them. So yeah, it's not exactly about you being stupid or you being smart, it's more like where are you at a certain point of the skill developing ladder, and you being blissfully unaware because you don't yet get the skill in order to proper assess that. Anyway, that background aside, we can move to the next nominated movie, which is this film by Leica Studios, stop motion. It's called Missing Link. It is about this adventurer slash cryptozoologist, which is dude who wants to belong very badly to this VIP club of explorers, and they don't want to accept him in So in order to prove his worth, he is traveling the world searching for a creature that he can present to this group. So he receives a letter of somebody claiming that the Sasquatch is roaming the lands of the east coast of the United States. So he travels there, and when he arrives, he realizes that the one who sent the letter in the first place was the Sasquatch himself. And the Sasquatch learn how to speak English and absorb the culture, the human culture, vicariously by reading self-taught how to read and how to, do several of the activities that we do. And at the same time, he didn't have proper contact with other people. So basically, he lives isolated from society, and he wants to find people like himself. So by reading, he realized that there was this civilization in the Himalayas, the Yeti. So he wants to go over there, and he wants for this explorer to take him. He nicknames him Mr. Link, who later decides that his name is going to be Susan. So yeah, it's a quite endearing story. One of the things that I like in terms of storytelling is the way they develop the character of Susan, because he is a quite very imposing monster, but is at the very same time very naive. He's terribly clumsy, and in certain scenes when he needs to solve problems, he actually makes them worse by trying to be useful, which is a constant naivety that they were perfectly able to maintain. One of the things that I'm not exactly sure if I like or not is the way they treat the romantic interest of the main character in this movie, which is this Latina girl, who is pretty stereotypical, if you ask me. Well, stereotypical in the sense of how a white male in a dating site will express himself about Latinas, because she is sassy, she is a little bit on the naggy side, but with her heart in the good place, so she can like nag you towards the right path, in a way. And I don't know, it's strange. I kind of like keep depicting Salma Hayek with this character for some reason. And well, one of the things that I didn't like was the actual modeling of the character, because it seems like a chunk of her face is missing, like she doesn't have the proper bone structure. But it's like aesthetic licenses, I guess. And well, the other thing that I also thought that kind of like comes across as a mistake is that the Susan, which is the Sasquatch character, it's supposed to be very imposing. It's supposed to have this very loud roar, but it doesn't really come across that way. There's something in there in the sound department that didn't kind of worked properly. I mean,
but do you mind if I just kind of growl a little bit in excitement? That was fun.
I don't know, it's a little bit low, like a sort of low roar, which outside of the context of Death Stranding, I'm not exactly sure if it works. I have to say, I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with the game. I'm not apologizing, I'm not. I think I like the main lesson of this movie the most, out of all the nominated ones. The main lesson in here seems to be don't try to force fit yourself in a place that does not want you. Which I don't think enough people realize the importance of that lesson, I know a lot of people who are really trying so hard, trying to fit in a place that has nothing to offer them. And the only reason why they keep on trying is just because the place or the group of people or the individual on itself is rejecting them, and that's the only thing. They see them as a challenge, but once they are going to get there, there is nothing for them to take. I don't know why they are losing their time, but yet still they just keep on doing, and it doesn't compute. I don't know why would you waste your time doing something like that. Anyway, I've seen people trying to get work permits for a country that are only going to take them as a second citizen class type of person. Why would you want that? And I've seen people slave away in jobs just to have their name written on a screen in the ending credits of a movie that is going to last 3-4 seconds, and it's going to be just a name among thousands of other names that no one is going to sit until the end of the movie in order to read, except your family and close friends maybe, who you told them that your name was going to appear there. And even Netflix has an auto-skip feature nowadays, so why would you trade the most part of your freedom and the most part of your happiness in your life slaving away in a job with terrible conditions? I don't get it, but okay. To each their own, I guess. There is a speech by Higa who nails the point that I'm trying to make.
You'd be surprised how many people, including myself, focus so much on how to reach our individual goals or what our society defines as success that we don't even realize that we're not even happy anymore. And most of the time, that unhappiness is caused by ourselves. It's fixable, but we don't even recognize it. We get so caught up chasing after these goals and stress ourselves out so much to the point that we're miserable, but yet we just suck it up and we just keep going because we think that once we finally reach these goals, that all this stress and unhappiness is gonna go away and we're just gonna live a happy, jolly, gay life. Well, I can tell you from personal experience, that's not how it works. If you're not happy with your life on the journey to your end goal, you're most likely not gonna be happy even after you reach it. It's like playing a video game. You don't play a video game that you hate just because you think it's gonna be fun once you finally beat it. It's almost the exact opposite of that. The best part of the game is the journey. The moment you beat it, the fun is over. But it's exactly that. It's a moment of happiness, and that feeling will fade as soon as the end credits come rolling by. Then you're bored and it's time for a new game. My point is, don't let society's definition of success dictate your goals and dreams. And contrary to most inspirational speeches, I personally think that it doesn't matter if you never reach any one of your goals or accomplish any one of your dreams, if you're enjoying the journey. Don't waste your time playing a game that makes you miserable just because you saw the glorified trailers or because you heard all the hype around it. If you're not having fun playing it, it's not gonna get any more fun just because you beat it. There's a lot of other games out there and the night is still young. You guys have the time. Find the game that's meant for you and have fun playing it.
I think every person finds meaning in a different way. I think I'm deviating a little bit of the topic because of the last video that just came out about this girl who quit her job at Disney, and a lot of people is saying, oh, you know what, this is the way it is, welcome to the adult world, you should just learn to develop a thick skin. And yeah, I mean, they are not wrong. It is not incorrect, but at the same time, it's not mandatory for you to accept those conditions if they are making you miserable. I understand that we all have bills to pay, and we must accept that that's the way it is. This is a paper play universe, sadly. But at the same time, there are so many ways on which you can reach that livelihood. So yeah, I mean, if you're not happy with your current situation, do as much as you can to change it. And don't try to feel compelled that because everyone says that something or that certain path is the path or is the way that things are supposed to be. Not necessarily. You can break the mold if it makes you happy and is not harming anyone. Just go ahead, you know? And
you'll never be one of us.
Quite right. I never shall. You know, I really don't care to anymore. I have changed my mind. I have evolved.
What? That's preposterous. Of course you want to be one of us. We are great men. We shape the world.
It's funny. I actually used to think that. But now I rather think the world shapes us.
I like that lesson in the movie. The next one is Toy Story 4. Basically, this is the story of the toys that we have learned to love in all these years. This time, Woody is no longer the protagonist. Well, it is the protagonist of the movie, but it's no longer the most beloved toy. Now all those toys belong to a new girl, and this new girl has different preferences. So basically, this child makes her own toys with garbage, and the toy becomes alive, but he thinks that he is garbage, so he has kind of like trying to a sort of identity crisis, and is trying to get away and throw himself literally to the garbage once and again and again and again, and Woody is trying to stop it for getting lost and getting thrown himself to the garbage, because for some reason he cares a lot about his kid. And this is a constant of this universe. All the toys, the maximum aspiration that they can have in life is to belong to a kid and be loved by a kid. And in this case, it's funny because you have like this super expensive plushies and super really well-made toys that have no owner, really struggling with getting picked by a kid. And on this other side, you have this this kid who prefers a literal plastic fork with googly eyes as its favorite toy, because children are kind of like cats with cardboards, it's like just like animals, they have no sense of monetary value, so they can pick just whatever and they will be happy with it. And yeah, in this shenanigans, Woody meets an old crush of him, who is a kind of like Barbie-like girl who doesn't need no child and goes around living the Imperator Furiosa life, driving her stealth skunk ride with her Cerberus ship. And they team together to rescue Forky from a sort of toy mafia, led by this doll who is like one of those dolls has like a voice speaking thing, but it's broken, and she thinks that that's the reason why she is not picked up by a child, because sounds pretty much like a toy from hell when she speaks. And so her plan is to steal the voice box of Woody in order to make herself lovable again. Eventually, she discovers pretty much something along the lines of the lesson of the previous movie, that usually the reason why you don't get accepted is not exactly the reason you think it was. It's a completely different reason. And that was a little bit tough to learn for her. They kind of like revolve in a very similar note to the previous one. Don't try to force fit yourself in a place where they don't want you. So Woody decides to stay as a runaway with the toys that have no owner, and they basically are just, rogging their way around. I gotta mention about this movie that the technical rendering is fantastic. I mean, it's impressive what they can do with computer animation nowadays. I mean, some of the scenes feel like straight up from Star Wars, even it's just toys walking behind a cabinet with cables and everything, but it looked really, really nice. Like, technically speaking, they're probably going to get an Oscar for that. I mean, from the 5 nominated ones, is probably the one who looks the best. And well, it is strange because it feels like we are comparing pears to apples in here, but not exactly, because even when some of them are 2D animation pretending to be 3D, which is the case of Claws, or 3D animation pretending to be the 2D, like is the case of I Lost My Body, or we have stop motion like in the Lanka Missing Link, and we have How to Train Your Dragon and Toy Story 4, which is 3D. All of them use 3D. All of them is just a different way to apply it to achieve different looks. And yeah, The next nominated movie, and probably my favorite of them all for winning, is Klaus. This is a Netflix movie. It was developed by one former creator from Despicable Me, who decided to make its own solo project, and is the story of how the legend of Santa Claus came to live. And basically tells a story of this guy who is a total brat, and he's studying to become a mailman. His father, in order to cure his brattiness, sent him to this remote place to become a mailman. So everybody in that town hates each other, and it's going to be pretty hard to get them to send letters to one another. So he tries, at a certain point, a child who is locked up inside a house loses a drawing, and this guy finds the drawing and tells him, hey, you know what, if you want your drawing back, I need to mail it to you. So he was just trying to, and eventually he arrives to this isolated cabin in the woods where this huge and unfriendly guy lives. For some reason, his hobby is to make toys out of wood. So the mailman decides that it will be a perfect idea to make this guy to deliver toys to the kids who send letters to him. And it's interesting because the main lesson of this story is a simple act of kindness always sparks another. It's very touching because it is true. Although I found it interesting because if you think about it, the whole kindness thing that got kickstarted in the plot of this movie was not sincere and was not uninterested, you know? Everything started because this guy wanted to fill his quota, and he basically scammed everyone around into sending letters to this other guy, and they start doing it. I mean, the kids, start doing it because they wanted something in exchange. They wanted toys, so that's why they start sending those letters. And there is this very, very nasty kid who misbehaves and treats the mailman as garbage. And he sends a letter, and the mailman, since he is the one who delivers the toys, he goes like all petty and says, you know what, you are completely disgusting and a brat, unspoiled, and you don't deserve a toy, so I'm not going to give you a toy. I'm going to give you, I don't know, what is that town? Okay, this black oil. So he puts a black oil in there, and then the kid comes one day when there is a bunch of kids lining up to deliver their cards to the mailman, and then this kid comes around and says, hey, what you're saying is bullshit, because I sent a letter and I didn't receive a toy. Instead, I received a piece of coil. And he say, oh, it's because you have been nasty. And Santa does not deliver toys to nasty people. And all the kids around him hear that. So they are like, oh my god, if I'm not nice, I'm not going to receive a toy. So they start doing kind acts around just to ensure that they are going to receive a toy, you know? So, and it's interesting because that gets contagious. I mean, the kids start being nice to each other, and then suddenly the kids start being nice to adults, and then adults start being nice to each other, and long story short, the whole town becomes such a nice, lovely place, to the point that the mailman decides that, hey, this is not a bad place after all, so I want to stay. And that is so interesting, you know? It's kind of like the phenomena of don't do good things that look bad, but in the other way around, you know? So if you do nice things, even if they are for the most selfish reasons, as long as it does not come across that way, as long as it just be perceived as genuine acts of kindness, even if they aren't, on essence, it's okay, you know, because it's going to create a chain reaction of good things. That's interesting. I saw a similar dynamic on Death Stranding actually. This game also revolves around a message of community and helping others. However, a good chunk of the things you do for others are a consequence of helping yourself first. If you got a motorbike that runs out of battery, you build a charger. If you have to cross a difficult access area, you build a bridge. If you want to max out the preppers in your area, you build roads to make your deliveries easier. And since you're leaving all these things behind, other people can use them too. And you can use the things other people left behind themselves. And the sense of gratitude remains the same. I mean, regardless if you know that this person didn't build the things specifically for you or for others, when you know that this person just left something behind because they used them first, it doesn't matter if it has a purpose or it serves you in any way, you are still grateful for that, you know? Especially if you didn't plan your journey properly, because Death Stranding is a game that is unforgiving on that regard. So it is always a relief to find a ladder or a rope when you forgot to pack yours. Whatever helps you, you know, and it is also rewarding to know that something that you left behind also helped somebody else. I think the only thing that I didn't like about Klaus was, once again, the face shape of the main female character. I mean, and well, the last movie that we have nominated on this category is I Lost My Body, also Netflix, a movie that you can watch on Netflix, and this is a movie produced in French, and it's just like French cinema in mostly general. It tells you like a sort of very, I don't want to say mundane because it's not mundane, but yeah, like a everyday situation, but in a way that is not so common to tell. So in here we have the story of this delivery guy who is not very good at his job, so he keeps on messing up, and as a consequence he keeps having shitty days once and again and again and again. At a certain point he has to deliver a pizza, and he delivers it late, and the guy has an accident, so the pizza kind of like gets screwed up in the way. And when he arrives and delivers it, he stays chatting with the girl who asked for the pizza, and he kind of like her voice because she doesn't seem to be. She seems to pay more attention than your average person tends to do, which is kind of sad if you think about it, because she kind of like is a little bit harsh about it at the very beginning, but at the same time he kind of like appreciates this moment of human contact that he's got with her. So he decides to track her down in order to get to know her better, and then he develops like a sort of crush with her without really meeting her, besides talking to her on the interphone. And he decides that he wants to quit his job and get a job that allows him to be near her. And in that job, which is a job that makes him work with wood and cutting wood, he is not that good on it either, and managed to sever his hand. And basically this whole story tells you the journey of the hand. I mean, he lost his hand, and his hand ends up in a sort of repository, and in here you have this fantastic journey of the hand getting out of the place where it is stored and travels back to his owner. And it's surreal and it's quite interesting. It's beautiful, actually. I'm not sure. I'll say that my favorite to win the Oscars is Klaus, but if I Lost My Body ends up winning, I'm not going to get mad. I mean, it's nice in a different way. it doesn't feel like way to produce it. It feels more artistic and more crafty in a sense. So yeah, those are my takes on all these movies, and I would like to tell you that I'm going to leave you with a painting, but this time I'm not painting anything. I'm sorry, I'm trying 3 different new skills this year that have nothing to do with, well, one of them kind of does, and I really suck at the 3 of them, as it is expected when you're starting on the learning of a new skill. So I don't know, if it pans out, then probably I'll share a little bit of that with you later. If not, well, there's always painting, just not this time. And well, that's it. Which one do you think is going to win? Or, well, if I already... Now, when you see this one, it probably already happened. Well, which one was your favorite to win? Let me know. And thanks for watching. Bye. Have a nice day.